Welcome back to FinCrime Agent. Last time we had a fantastic training session with Julie Chu, our blockchain investigator, where we ran a short crypto investigation and traced a $1,000 Tether scam using the analytic platform Arkham. But here is the reality. Of course, in FinCrime, you cannot rely always just on one tool, especially if you're dealing with crypto investigation. And today, Julie is back to trace the exact same address and funds, but this time we are doing it on Etherscan. Why would you do that? As an investigator, you need flexibility, and in the second part of our crypto investigation exercise, Julie is going to show you that these tools are not the same and they offer different nuances. We will see how Etherscan organizes the money trail, hiding key transactions in the Token Transfer tab, and also why it lacks some of the crucial exchange labels that Arkham instead provides. Before we get started, please know that I'm not affiliated in any way with Etherscan or Arkham. This is just a crypto investigation exercise so we can learn how to trace crypto-related transactions. Ultimately, this video proves that mastering both tools will be extremely useful when tracking criminals across a blockchain. You need to know where the information is hidden if you want to find those exit ramps. And if you're serious about building a career in financial crime prevention, whether in traditional banking or the growing crypto space, understanding these forensic steps is critical. So I decided to publish this video as I see it like a perfect supplement to the skills that you learn in my FinCrime Career Accelerator. To find out more about my course, check the link in the video description. And that's it with my intro. It's now time to leave space for Julie and see what she has to tell us about this type of investigation. Let's jump into today's video.
I'm going to show you the same transaction that we saw and traced yesterday, the same address and transaction, except we are going to use Etherscan instead of Arkham. And the reason why I'm showing you on Etherscan also is because you want to be flexible and be able to use all the public blockchain tracing tools, because not all of them are the same, and some of them are going to offer you different nuances. And your the tracing tool that you have at your exchange might not give you the information you need, so you're going to have to use other resources besides what your exchange offers. So having said that, we are going to head over to Etherscan. Let me X out this box and open up a fresh box. So you're going to pop in the address in the search box, and this is the first page it's going to take you to. And you can see it's not the same transactions as what we saw last night. And let me head over to Arkham. And this is what we see in Arkham. We see the 500, the 561, but we also see these tiny ETH transactions for 46 coming in, 346 going out, $1 coming in, and $1.69 going out. And we also see attribution from CoinW Hot Wallet and Coinbase Hot Wallet that we don't see in Etherscan. We don't see any attribution, but from last night I knew the transaction was Tether, so I knew it was going to be over in this tab. And you can see here the 500, the outgoing, and those two $248 transactions that we saw over in Arkham. But the tiny transactions that we saw, those are ETH-based, so they're going to show up in this page. And you can tell by, for instance, let's take this one. January 22, 2025 at 15:57 a.m. for 667. We'll hop over here. And again, we're going to switch it to date and time so we can understand the transaction better. And here is that. Oh, excuse me. Here is that. The January 22, 2025. Here it is right here. January 22, 2025 at 15:57:59. And you can see the address is the same. But you see the amounts are different, and that's because that's just the way that these exchanges are valuing the USD. I don't know. I'm not sure if they are capturing the USD, the ETH price at the time of the original transaction or the current price. So that's why you see a difference in valuation, but all this information is the same, all up until the price. All of this information is the same. So anyway, Etherscan arranges it differently. So they'll put those ETH transactions on this page, and the non-ETH but Ethereum-based transactions like Tether and Circle, they will show here on this app, Token Transfers. But it's the same information, it's just arranged differently. So anyway, like yesterday, we saw that these two $500 transactions were combined and sent out through this address. So we're going to do the same thing as yesterday. We're going to copy this address. And we want to preserve this page because if you're like me and have a terrible memory, you want to be able to come back to refer to it. So then we're going to, again, copy this link, this address. This is the from address. And then we're going to hit Command and click on this link for the sending address, the second hop. And we're going to, and it opens up right here for us. And what we'll see is it's going to open up to 8/19/25. And what we want is 1/24/2025 at 5:46 a.m. So in order to get that, we're going to have to move backwards in time. In order to do that, we'll scroll all the way down and then we'll click this View All ERC-20 Transactions tab. And we're still not at January 24, 2025. So we're going to have to hit 100. And we are still not at the same right time. So we're going to have to manually tab backwards, just like we did with Arkham. So now you see that we are in April. We still have to keep going back. March, February, okay, we're in January now. Okay, we're in January 25th. But we're still not at 5 a.m. So we're going to go to the next page. And here we are. We're at 5:46 a.m., which is where we want to be. So like I said, we're going to copy this address. We're going to head over here. We're going to search for that address, that incoming address. So you're going to put in the whole address. And unlike Arkham, it's not going to highlight because Etherscan takes out the middle of the address, as you can see by these ellipses. So what I like to do is just take the last, 5 or 6 address numbers and letters, but cut all the rest of it off. So I'm going to do that. And then it should highlight. It's not highlighting for some reason. It is not highlighting for some reason. And that could be that I've copied the wrong numbers. Let's give it another try. So I'm going to copy this address, go over here, and erase everything but the end. And there it goes. It highlighted. Sometimes it's persnickety, so you kind of have to fiddle around. But here we can confirm this was January 24, 25 at 5:46:23, and it's almost $1,001 in Tether. And the same amount. January 24, 546.23, the same address information. So we know we have the right address. Great. So now that we found where the funds went to in the second hop, we need to know, well, what's next? Where did the funds go after? So in order to do this, we're going to do the same thing as last time. We're going to go backward. We're going to move forwards, rather. So we're going to scroll all the way down, and we're going to go to previous page. And then we're going to look for, so in Etherscan, apologies, in Arkham, incoming transactions are in green and outgoing are in red. In Etherscan, incoming transactions are in the inbox and outgoing transactions are as so out. So this is a previous page from where we were, and we see here outgoing Tether. So these are all potential off-ramps for that $1,000 that was sent to this second address, except for this one. This is USC Circle, so we're not going to look at this one. But all of these transactions here, they are potential off-ramps, and there's a possibility that all the funds went out at this address, because this is a little bit more than that $1,000 transactions, but it was combined with it could have been combined with other transactions and set here, or it could have been broken up into these little transactions here, any one of them except for this circle transaction. And you might be thinking that all these addresses here belong to the scammer, but that is not necessarily so. Sometimes what scammers do is that they send little inducement payments to their victims to convince the victims that their investment is legitimate. So some of these little accounts could belong to people who are thinking that this is a lucrative investment, and they belong to actual victims, customers, and not the scammers. And some of these other accounts, they may actually belong to the scammers, but we won't know unless we send an RFI. So unlike Arkham, if you recall from the other video, Arkham gave attribution to a lot of these addresses, and they are really, for the most part, Coinbase addresses. But you can see Etherscan doesn't do that. So that is, in this instance, that's the benefit of using Arkham. But in later videos, I will show you the benefit of using Etherscan. But so since we know from the previous Arkham trace that these are exchanges, we're not going to be able to trace any further. And in order to find out who's who, our law enforcement would have to send a subpoena. So this is the end of our trace for now, because you stop tracing at an exchange. So if anyone has any questions or comments, please let me know. And thank you for your time. Bye.